What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Homeless Harlan American Holocaust channel. Homeless guy in a phone booth, day ones, online friends, self-isolation, and gangster market. Alright, Harlan, you know what to do.
What's good, guys? Happy Friday. Welcome back to the iSpooge Daily channel. This is an experimental tech media brand. And yes. So we have the new space and so many new options. Because it's after hours, I can use this room without paying $1 some per 20 minutes. Etiquette says using it for more than 5 minutes, reserve it. But the founder said if I'm here like super early in the morning or whatever, you know. So the acoustics, see there's some cork on the wall. Feels a little echoey, but the cork does seem to stop it. So we also have this ring light with the amber color option, so that's pretty cool. So yeah, I was thinking like, okay, live streams might be a thing. Definitely just space to edit videos is a thing. Now, does that mean we have time? No, we still work in a kitchen. This month and next, I'll have a little bit more time because we're closed a couple extra days a week because it's just the slow season for us. For other people, it might be the busy season. So people move seasonally. So yeah. So I was just thinking about a couple things, but I wrote them on the laptop. They're not here. Just on a whim, I wanted to try this space while the sun is up because I'm not a big fan of the lighting.
Oof, that's oppressive. Yeah, just go with the natural lighting, or get something like you can probably like tone down a bit.
I suppose that might actually not be the worst. But yeah, I wasn't a fan of it last night. And I guess it's not the worst. Definitely changes the mood, eh? So yeah, just showing up, doing talking practice. I have not recorded prior videos today, like yesterday where I recorded 3 and uploaded 1. It makes me think about like managing topics that we want to talk about. How can we do that? There's the forum idea.
Yeah, he has a forum. It's completely like empty. It's like devoid of any content that isn't him just like posting these channel entries and like maybe posting some random thoughts or something to do with like whatever tech field he was in. It's very depressing. It's like his Twitter. He kind of like he's in an internet to like vacuum. He only really puts stuff out with no real like interaction. Like you don't expect any comments back, don't expect any feedback or any sort of like interaction whatsoever. It's just like Harlan putting stuff out into the world and getting nothing back. I don't know why he just closes his Twitter off. Just like it's only he can reply and his replies are not open.
I made a transcript search engine, so that could be something to just help us tie, well, there's a couple ways it could be used, but at its simplest, you type in a word, and we find all the videos that mention that word. And certain words like privacy or gang stalking or other subjects can basically be tagged. Like if we mentioned in a video, we can add that link to a collection or something. We can link to the spots in the video that we say it. I've got a bunch of UX diagrams. Like I've been doing.
I think YouTube has something like similar. Like, at the very least, you just search within the individual channel on like a PC. I don't know if it's true for the mobile phone, like the mobile apps, but you can search within the channel and write anything that you think might come up in certain videos. And if there's a transcript available, it usually will surface the videos. It's probably not as precise as he wants it, but you can find these sort of things.
Doing this work for 6 years, so I've made a bunch of apps, like 20 plus myself. But I don't want to release it all at once. I don't want to release it all before I have traction for somebody to just come and feed off it, other people to just come and feed off it. I've got to get some value for it. So yes, I am sort of selling out compared to open source where you just release whatever's done. But I'm homeless. I don't have a place to live. I have my car, but I've been in my car for 6 years. There was a little time I stayed in a homeless shelter, a little time during pandemic where I went to stay with a relative. But I've been in the car primarily for 6 years, over that now, June 1st, 6 years. When I had to move out of my apartment, I thought, oh, I'll just live here for a couple weeks. And then people thought I went crazy. I was already kind of working on my own thing too. And people, I guess, when you start working on your own thing, people think you've gone crazy. That's something I didn't really know. I'm used to the rap songs where they're all talking about like my day ones, where are my day ones at? And that kind of brings us to another topic, like who are my day ones, where are they? And
oh, I had a different reading on what day ones was. All right. Yep. Okay.
something that I've been like trying to figure out personally is like, why am I not just making online friends? Like I've got this YouTube channel that's getting popular. People want to support.
I don't. Harlan, I don't think you actually interact with anyone. I think everyone who tries to get in contact with you, you don't answer back. It's like the conversation only ever goes one way. I'm like looking at his Twitter right now, and it's just like a guy's like, "Yo, bro, I can help." Where is this tweet? I think it's his pin tweet. It's in his pin tweet. It's like this dude, Mags to Keith. I have the ability to provide you a very large platform, and I believe in some of the things you've said. I believe in some of the things you've said. Not a lot of what you said, but some. You choose to block communication on most of your platforms. I know why, but it makes it difficult for people like me to reach you. Please DM me. Yeah, so this guy like is saying what I'm saying is like you're uncontactable. You have, I guess, this Twitter that is like the replies are open. It's not restricted, but I guess you never get back to anyone. And something about your email is like people try to reach out to you, and I think it's like maybe it's a running joke where you will mention that you will check your email, but you never do. So I'm guessing this is all um some bullshit. Like it's just bullshit where you see these communications, you see these tweets, you see these people reaching out to help you, but outside of like direct donations into your wallet, you don't want to have anything to do with it. So the next like 5 minutes is just going to be like bullshit cap.
Why am I not cultivating this? Well, my day ones, and these are related, I'm going to tie them together. My day ones are AOL and IRC friends, script kiddies together. Not really script kiddies, we were doing more serious stuff. And a lot of us went on to be industry, real players in the industry.
Yeah, like industry leaders, industry mavericks, people who broke the mold, but I guess Harlan got left behind.
And I've definitely neglected the relationship with those people, but when I was in need, multiple of them have reached out to me and I ignored them.
Yeah, neglected relationships. It seems to be like this reoccurring thing where it's just like he does not maintain the relationships properly. He's kind of like openly resistant to making the effort, and then he's like, "Oh, where are my day ones? Where's my homies?" Like, no, you've like actively pushed them out of your life.
Them. Exactly the same as I ignore freelance clients I worked with who have reached out to me and said, hey, it's like I saw the DM and I just didn't even read it. How crappy of me, right?
Yeah, so where are my day ones? Why are they around? What is the problem? Like, so there's the void, there's the middle ground where he can't like, well, no, I'm saying he can identify the problem easily. This is a very he's aware of it, but I guess he just does not care. So where my day ones, I know where my day ones are. I ignore them. I don't maintain the relationship. So why am I bemoaning the fact that my day ones aren't around? Because I know why I don't have them anymore. So it's just like, why go into this if you know the answer?
And that's for a couple reasons. I mean, just figuring out narcissistic abuse, like self-isolation, I don't know who to trust.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Well, obviously you can trust your old friends, right? Probably, but then just not knowing if my device is hacked too. I'm sure that it was hacked at some point in time. I've like factory reset and whatever, but still, you know,
Bro, just get the tinfoil on. Get that tinfoil crown and yeah, put yourself in a bunker and
I don't know how a person of interest I am to these circles anymore after 6 years. I mean, my precautions I took then.
I would think it's done. I think you are maybe just a joke. Like people, maybe you're a sad joke they mentioned. It's like, oh, was that just like Harlan did? Yeah, Harlan. You heard from that dude? Yeah, man, he's not doing too well.
Then versus now can be probably different. But I think as soon as I start getting like traction, momentum, a platform, it's going to be back. And so it's almost like staying low key and isolated is.
Wait. Wouldn't you? All right, let me go back. So is he saying that once he gets traction, once these apps start taking off, these day ones are going to come back? Why would you trust the day ones when they come back only when you get traction?
Is just a way for me to rest and just like, you know, I've always been comfortable myself. That's not to say there haven't been periods where I've looked outside of myself to cope. I mean, who hasn't? That's like part of this. Like, there's a reason we're born into this world. Even if it's, as they say, just a mirror of our internals. Like, whatever you see in the outside world is a reflection of something within yourself. How did I get there? Something to do with just self-isolation. So I've like, you know, during pandemic, I was in my car with no phone service in San Francisco, one of the biggest lockdown cities. Like, there was hella compliance. Like, my entire day could be getting a coffee, and yes, I masked. I just didn't have a choice. I had to put on a mask, even though I didn't want to. I wasn't gonna fight it as a homeless guy with nowhere to go because it's like, I don't know, dishwasher or something distracting. Anyway, yeah, I started recording in here last night and heard some other kind of noise and stops too. So anyway, Yeah, so my day ones are online friends, but now I've got a new online platform and I'm not connecting and making new friends, and I'm not responding to the friends who reach out to me. I'm in the self isolation. Like,
Yeah, so you know the problem, you've identified the problem, like, and you know the cycle. So what are you gonna do about Harlan? What is the way out of this?
it's weird. Just like, well, another thing too is
Are you gonna be making videos this time next year and still be like, where are my day ones online? Where are my homies? Or is this just like a guilt tactic? It's like, why aren't my real supporters, online supporters, my donos, stepping up to the plate? Where are they?
okay. Like in 2010, texting became a thing, so we were all friends just on our computers at home in our rooms. But once like texting became a thing, it's like people are a little apprehensive to reach out because they don't know where you are, even though it's sort of on the receiver to manage their notifications. Like, but if it's an important person and they call in the middle of the night, you might have them on a whitelist that lets their text or email go or phone call go through, and then you answer it or whatever. But it's not actually that important. So maybe people could have some kind of convention when they contact each other, like Eisenhower matrix. Like they could just say important, not important, urgent, not urgent. So it could just literally be like IU for important, urgent, or N N for not important, not urgent. Sort of thing. So
Oh
there are like things
God,
that
just completely overthought this process. It's just like horrendously, like he's obviously trying to be very particular about what he will respond to, but it's just to a degree like most normal people just wouldn't really understand.
could have been done given communication, but then just being under all this pressure, having this actual gang stalking stuff going on, having court battles and private investigators literally stalking me in person, places I eat, workplaces, most likely text messages, online channels, getting weird. When I say something about needing work, I get these.
Who does it remind me of? Who was that guy? Who's the gang stalking guy? Oh yeah, Reformed Stoic. That guy. He was another one who's getting gang stalked in, like, I think it was Las Vegas or something like that. He was like connected into the IP2 crowd, and yeah, this guy reminds me of him in a weird way. They both, if you shaved his head, and yeah, if he was bald, he would look very similar to to that dude.
Strange inbound messages that I feel originated from people that I knew who are just trying to like trap me or get me or like prove something by whatever response or non-response I give. So it's just like I just like built this wall around myself, and no, it's not just going to be taken down because I see the light that I was wrong. I was not wrong. I was right to build that wall. But still, it's more about making a gate and some protocol to let people in, because I don't think it's wrong to block out the world. Like for the most part, the world is falling.
Yeah, you have a there's like a velvet rope, and then you have security, and then you have like triple security, and then you've got another like gang of security ready to go. So it's always there's like this vetting process is becoming insane to a point that even the people that like get through this like crazy criteria of vetting, they finally get to the process, and that you still be like, oh, actually, I don't really trust you. After all that, you might be a like a gang stalker head, like super double agent undercover gang stalker.
There are people you want to let in, but as soon as you post something publicly, you're going to have undesirables who want to get at you coming through that channel. Like you could say this channel is only for this kind of stuff. It could literally be a web form.
Dude, I mean, look at the shit you put out in this world. You are baiting these people. You are baiting them to come in and try like buddy troll you. There's like probably a lot of, if he picked up a lot of traction in these sort of circles, at the moment he doesn't. Like, there's no one really picked up on him after all this time. But yeah, people would be trying to get in your pocket, be your friend, and then they would definitely be like leaking all sorts of stuff outside of like private communications.
Disney did research about how to keep people from bullying people in games, and if you can have even like kids, like people may, I don't know if it was kids, AI researchers, whatever, even without being able to type words to communicate, they were able to find ways to.
Yeah, there is something, and it is another thing with Paul is where they want to make sure that they have constructed walls around themselves and they're impervious to criticism and people picking apart whatever narrative they have, because it's like, I don't know if it's world shattering. I don't think it's world shattering because they probably don't really look at it all that much. But if they had comments open and they were freely going back and forth, and it would be a never ending like cycle of, well, I've got to like whack down all my haters today in my comment section, and I must because I need to keep this narrative flowing and consistent, and you know, the story cannot be tarnished, can't be desecrated. Whereas Paul and Harlander said, I don't want to deal with that anymore. Complete isolation, complete like I'm we're effectively uncontactable despite having like numerous ways to actually contact them. So yeah, they've erected these like very secure little barriers around themselves to uh, shield themselves from criticism, but they still see it like channels like mine or like people who are like out there in the world like questioning this stuff, questioning these stories are like not great for them because they can't control that. They can control seeing it. If they don't want to see it, they'd probably maybe block the channel or uh, do what they can not to see it. But otherwise, yeah, they can't control these channels outside of maybe taking action against them, which I'm probably thinking he will do.
express language and bully each other, which basically just means if I open myself up publicly, no matter what, no matter how limited, no matter what the protocols, that kind of stuff's going to come through. So the next best thing might be to have a personal assistant and just say, whoever contacts me, you're going through my personal assistant. So don't make her.
All right, so you're already paying $200 to your manager or someone within this like kitchen office facility where you work, $200 a month, which isn't too bad, I guess. That's not the worst. To record, you can't sleep here though. You're annoyed that you can't sleep here. So, all right, so you're a dishwasher that can't pay well. I can't believe it pays well, but you don't have a lot of overhead in terms of like rent or mortgage. You got car insurance, I'm sure. Yeah, so you've got not a lot of overhead, and you've got a pretty cheap place to hang. I don't know how long you could stay here, so it sounds like early in the morning and late in the afternoon after, or late in the evening when everything's closed, you can just hang out here and record, and it's chill. Why don't you? I think you should try and negotiate with this guy. Say, all right, I won't pay you. I don't want to pay you $200, but what I will do is do a lot of little things in and around this office space and maybe in the kitchen to help prep for the next day. So I'm working, but I'm not. And I can sleep here. Might break some laws, but maybe you can work it out where it's just on the down low. No one knows about it. It's just like a verbal contract between you and this guy and say, look, I don't want to pay for this, but what I will do is I'm going to go and do all the pre-prep. Like before everyone comes in, everyone will be ready to go. Things around this office space will be clean. I'll do all the little things. Maybe he'll even save you money by, I don't know. Maybe he will do the cleaning within this office area where you don't have to employ a cleaner yourself. Anyway,
cry or make, whatever. But still, that means you have to have like full trust in that person. It's this thing of like buying people off. I think it's really a thing. I mean, if you're paying your assistant $50K a year, whatever, she might have more hustles going on, whatever. But then someone approaches.
yeah, but my feeling is, Harlan, you must get established. You must be at a certain level of finance or renown or income that then consider the assistant.
Approaches and says, hey, we need you to just keep us informed of what's going on, and we'll pay you $1,000 a month or something.
Why?
Depending on the integrity of the person, they may or may not have an easy time turning that down. And if they do turn it down, that may be sort of a threatening, compromising situation, especially if it's like a big, scary guy that says you're going to do this for $1,000 a month or else. You know what I'm saying? So why would people do that? Well, if there's, an 8-figure settlement, potentially because of misconduct from a public company, even if.
All right, so it's another Paul thing where he's just he's just going off. He's having a bit of he's riffing. He's just throwing stuff out into the world. And then, like, there's always going to be moments in any conversation or anything he's doing, even if it has nothing to do with these videos, where he's just like, oh, yeah, and then I was fired from that job unjustly by those bastards at Open Table, those sons of a bitches. Yeah, this is a special personal hell for these guys where you just can't let it go. Everything kind of comes back. All these, like, the rumination, the thought trains where it's just going around in your head, and every now and again you'll latch onto this track and it'll take you around for a while, and then you will eventually break loose of it and then divert again onto the other track or train of thought you were thinking of. But you will always get diverted onto these things, and it's like Paul and like this guy, it's just like he can't keep it out his mouth. He's always thinking about it.
It was only a six-figure settlement. Like that means paying someone $1,000 a month for a while is cheaper than any kind of settlement, plus all the legal stuff, plus the time, plus their misconduct. Somehow I could come through with an awesome lawyer. Even maybe one of you guys or maybe lawyers are reaching out to me. But then again, like I don't.
Another that was a Paul thing. He was constantly like, lawyers, journalists, anyone in the media, please help me, reach out to me.
I don't know who they are. Like, how do I vet people? Well, with this discernment
Well
stuff,
then, all right, you've got the lawyer, and you've got like the Saul Goodman right here, and he's like, all right, Harlan, I'll take you on, man. I'll take that case, and we'll go all the way, my brother. And then you're like, I don't know if I can trust you. How do I vet you? How do I thoroughly sift through everything, every court case you've been involved in, and do you like fit in within my criteria? It's just like it's never ending.
about, right? For sure. So, it's not paranoid schizophrenia.
It's exhausting. Like that is what it is. It's like it's purely exhausting. If this isn't a act and he is this well, he says this is not paranoia or schizophrenia. It's like if it is not them, then this like process must be exhausting. Like, why do you even work here? How do you know you can trust this guy at your job? Like, how do you know this boss right now doesn't have a camera on your ass recording you? You were looking up at this camera the other night and like going, is this thing on? Like, how do you know he wouldn't use that against you, Harlan? Like, have you vetted him to the nth degree? Like, is your process consistent across the board, or is it just like when you're yabbing at this camera?
To say this stuff. Like, even though, and anyone who says that it is kind of suspect themselves. So it's, well, it sounds like you need some help. Everyone, that's going to be the first thing that people jump to. But then it seems like there's a lot of people who know that this kind of stuff goes on. Like, I'm not like, is this grandiose narcissism because I've had a high status, high paid, basically elite level job before, and now, somehow it's like I sold my soul because it's like they don't want me to move, but they're not.
I think you're like, what I think it is, you are scrambling to find any reason or justification for the life you live now as opposed to what you used to live like. Like, how do you come to grips with it? And some people do, and some people move on and they find new jobs and they find opportunities that are as or more lucrative. They spit it into something. They take a negative and turn it into a positive. Whereas you've just fallen apart, and now like you're just reaching out into the world and saying, what caused this? Why did it happen? And you're going through like family issues. You're going through interpersonal relationships. You're looking at why you like the reason you were unjustly let go. Like it's leading to this complete like a chaotic search that will never end, and you'll never come to a conclusion that's satisfactory.
Not actually physically stopping me. It's just like it's a feeling. It's like, anyway, I keep trying to move, right? So
is it like a vibration? Is it Jupiter is in retrograde, and if you turn northeast and look at the at the North Star or something like that, and you will come to the epiphany that will break you loose from all this.
keep doing little things to get better. Like right when I became homeless, I got a co-working membership at the Hacker Dojo where I was already kind of active in that community in the past. So here's a pattern with me. I keep going back to things that were safe in the past. Exactly like when I first learned about fight or flight, animals like a deer that's scared or startled will run back to the last safe place that it knew. So it's a natural instinct for me to go back to safe places I knew. But then at the same time, thinking about like,
well, is that the car? Is that an analogy for the car where you are in these confined spaces? Like you can't control these confined spaces. You don't. It goes back to like a Paul thing where his neighbors. He couldn't control his neighbors. He couldn't control who lives there. And that's the bad thing about living in these apartments is you just never know who your next neighbor is going to be. It's like a Russian roulette. It's going to go bang or it's going to go click. So you will run to where you can control what is around you, and that's a car where, hey, there's like bums hanging around me, there's gang stalkers, there's psychopaths, there's HR, there's CIA, there's Mossad. I'm gonna go drive over to the car park across town that I know is empty, and they're not there. So it's like it's a control. You control your space, whereas if you are confined to it, there's nothing you can do about it outside of like talk to a neighbor and hopefully talk some sense into them and say, turn down all that fucking rap music.
Like the chess moves, like they know that that's probably my move, and so who are they going to try to infiltrate too? It's going to be people who I used to know. So I'm not sitting here saying they're trying to like infiltrate everyone. Everyone's out to get me. Oh my gosh, like literally, like nobody's out to get me. And if it is all a reflection,
Yeah, it's confusing with Harlem because he'll say one thing and then maybe a video on from now he will like just completely forget that he said this.
of myself, like going into isolation calms my internal state. Like yeah, people have reached out to me, but I don't owe them anything really, a response, anything like that. So once I become
Yeah, but then you will bemoan the fact that people don't help you and people aren't your day ones anymore, or like there aren't people trying to help you in any meaningful way outside of donos seem to be where he wants it. So he doesn't want paragraphs of, hey man, I know your story, man, bro, blah, 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 bro, yeah, man, I get you on the right path. He doesn't want to hear that. That's not what he needs. He just wants to see 20, 30, 40, 50, $399 special subscriber tier. That's like, he just wants to see the bank balance go bloop, 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 bloop. He doesn't want the preamble. He doesn't want your friendship. It seems like the only, and I suppose it's a communication. He will maybe acknowledge the fact that you gave him money. Maybe that's it. That's about as much acknowledgement as he'll give you, as much back and forth as you will get.
like internally peaceful, which I kind of am now. Now it's just the momentum of, well, what do I even say to these people who messaged me 4 years ago, 5 years, years ago? What do I say to them when I get back to them? And the new thing now is just when I reach out to people who have not gotten back to me in the past too, they don't get back to me again. Like I sent an email to a few of my buddies, just saying I got this space and here's what I've been doing, and I'm looking for product people to help. I just want to be the tech lead. Like I'll even give away majority.
Yeah, but like they already know. They're probably aware of the story, Harlan. They're probably aware of like your open table. Um, you've shut on the table. They know about it. They're thinking like, I am in a stable position in my life. Ain't no way am I gonna like jump into tech this like tech startup that Harlan kind of wants to get going. He wants to get the traction. He wants to get like things moving in one direction, and they're already stable. They're probably like most likely very stable. Got things going on. Got wife, kids, house, mortgage, reasonably stable job, hobbies, and all that. And it's like give that all up to go in on whatever Harlan wants to do, which is not something that's ever going to go anywhere.
Equity. I mean, granted, it's been like only 2 or 3 days, but nobody's responded to me, and I'm just used to that. So it's like
Also, it's like a selfish thing. It's like, hey, you dipped. You haven't been in contact with these guys. You haven't maintained the relationship. It's a give and take. It's a back and forth. And then after 4 years, I suppose you're offering them an opportunity, but the opportunity is kind of garbage. It's kind of like not what they probably want or need right now. And now it's like, well, fuck them for not replying. They're not great friends. I'm the one reaching out here, but you're reaching out in selfish ways. Like, yeah.
I didn't get the 2010. I kind of trailed off that point, so I never really got into texting too much because of just that whole like thing. We were kind of talking through Google Talk or whatever. But then as we got into mobile, I didn't really go that route. And then I was in a relationship too, so definitely been too codependent in my.
All right, relationship. All right, we got a relationship. Need to know more. Need to know more. He's already shut on it. He said something about, oh, it's really codependent.
Relationships with women as well. So it's kind of a stereotype that when women get a boyfriend, they ignore all their friends and whatever, and then when they break up, they come back. I've kind of been like that as a guy. I mean, not when I was dating, like post my last.
All right, so like it's a fiercely independent guy. Doesn't necessarily need people around him all the time to be. I won't say happy, just satiated.
Long-term relationship, serious relationship, whatever. I mean, virtually marriage. I mean, live together, everything. But
Sure. All right. Cool. How long ago was that? Like, it was a while back. I think a lot of things have changed in your life since then, right?
when I was dating, I was kind of the exact opposite. I was like, they try to get attached, and I'd be like, I'd keep the distance, and I would just prioritize work.
Like, look, I won't say that's the worst like tactic. Like, you don't want to be in someone's pocket all the time. You don't want to be to such a level where you can't be separated for a long time, or you can't not go without texting them for like more than an hour before they're like, baby, what's going on? Why aren't you haven't come back to me yet?
all the time and just see them like after everything else was done, as it should be, as it should have been.
Yeah, I think it's like a longing makes the heart grow fonder. I really think that's a good thing.
But yeah, so like there's just so many reasons. Like my old relationships are kind of spotty, and I don't know if they can go back. And then so like I didn't really learn texting, and then post 2020, like I didn't really, all of that. I've not even zoomed since pre 2020. So if we're gonna keep this 20 minutes, we got to stop basically now for 19
Yeah,
minutes.
well done.
But yeah, like the live stream we did was a lot longer. We could potentially do something like that. I wouldn't want to regularly do live streams in the same space for my own reasons, but it's something we can think about doing.
Now, Harlan, I like your little isolated little videos here. Don't do these like 19-hour marathon live streams, because this is what I hate about live streams, and it's really killed a lot of YouTube for me, is where they can beg the donos through these really long live streams that go on forever. They're just like scatterbrained, like what they're watching videos, they're doing this, doing that, and it's like you can't really concentrate on anything because it's just so randomized. But it's like done in a way that it can like really beg as much donos as they can, and it's killed a lot of YouTube for me. I don't know if people feel the same, but there are like a whole list of creators that I was just like loved their sole content, their like individual video content, and then like live streams blew up massively where they just like transitioned to, well, I'm not really doing videos anymore because they're not very lucrative. YouTube's like kind of like a prick in terms of monetization. They can like cut me off at the knees anywhere, but like, as long as I have super chats going, as long as I have the ability to get super chats, those videos don't really matter anymore. This is my content going forward, and it's just like a lot of it's miss and very little hits.
Maybe once or randomly producing stuff. We got to get more cash flow.
Though I gotta say, man, a Paul B live stream, I'd be in the chat.
I hate to drive that in, but money does make the
That he wouldn't have on.
world go round. It is just a tool. I don't love it. I just realize stuff costs money. My own finances, with this change, it's always looking at the receipts and figuring out how to adapt. So yeah, 20 minutes. Thanks a lot for joining, and looking forward to seeing you next time.
All right, pretty concise, and yeah, we've gone through some old school relationships. Why aren't they around? He already knew the answer though. Like, he already knew it. He's asking a question to which he already knows the answer. It's like and he's still like confused about it, but he kind of knows why. But he's more questioning himself, like, why am I like this, and how can I move forward? In a very like roundabout way, which is kind of like annoying and confusing. But he's kind of getting there. But it's just like, I'm guessing this is going to be a never-ending cycle of, why aren't these people around? Why aren't they here for me anymore? Well, I know the answer, and I'm not really satisfied with the answer. It's a little bit of their fault. It's a little bit of my fault. How do I move past it? Well, I don't want to move past it because I want to be isolated. Thus, it'll never end. Anyway. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Another Harlan video in the can. He looks like he's about to go on a daily upload spree where he's going to get rapid because he's got the space now to get rapid. I won't cover everything. I'm not as intrigued as I first was with Harlan, but I do appreciate the daily content, and the kind of like short run time is also a benefit. So we will see. We will see if Harlan is really going to go the distance here. All right, guys. Till next time.